Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Now, I am going to say first off, I am still a little bit sick, so if my voice sounds weird, that is why. But for today, I wanted to get an episode done, and today's going to be a very special episode. Today, we're going to be doing a tutorial for tanks. This is going to be a complete start-to-finish tutorial on how to build tanks, cannons, tank steering, aiming, everything you should need to know to make a tank. Now with all my tanks, the first thing I start off with is the actual gun. Go from the gun to the turret to the driving system. And then I do like the armor and then the camo after that. I will not be going over the armor too much because it's something I'm very experimental with. I don't know all too much about it. And there's still a lot of things that I need to improve on in that regards. So first things first is we need to build the cannon. These are some of the pieces you're going to need. We will be expanding this a little bit here in the near future. So the cannon, you need 12 cannons in total. I usually do a 3x4 configuration. 1, 2, 3. 3. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go, that is the size of our cannon. Go ahead and paint these up. Yep, they're all painted, and we can go ahead and get rid of this little plate for now. On this side, we're going to go ahead and do that piece there, a piece there, paint them up. Then on the bottom of the cannon, so we're going to have to knock this over. There we go. We're going to want 2 rounded pieces like such. We can put a bearing on top left and bottom right. This is going to be set up so our seat is going to be on the left hand side of the cannon. Now we're going to need a button. This button is going to connect to all of the cannons. For all of the spud guns, I should say. At this point, the cannon is technically functional. However, we're not going to shoot it just yet. We are going to put a bit of a limiter in here. This way, we don't put our canister anywhere it shouldn't be. So if I grab cardboard and a canister, we're going to load it like this. The canister being there. So we want to bring this around, down. So that this way, we can only put the canister where it should be going. There we go. Go ahead and delete this because we don't need it. At this point, we're going to put the top of the cannon on. And we're going to go ahead and run the barrel. Paint it all up so it's not this red color. And if you don't know why I'm using the maintenance ship block instead of metal, metal and the maintenance ship block both have the same armor value. However, the maintenance ship block is a lighter block, making it a lot better for tank design. Alright, that's all painted up. So at this point, we do have a technically functional cannon. Let's go ahead and load it up here. I'm going to remove some of this so that we can get in here to our loading bay a bit easier. And at this point, once we take it off our lift, we should be able to fire it. Now, if you run into an issue where the canister is exploding in your barrel or near the end of your barrel, just shorten your barrel a couple of blocks and you should be fine. I'm going to go ahead and add a few cosmetic items to this. For no other reason than we can. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and now set up the elevation. This is going to make it so you can pivot your cannon up and down. There's that hooked up. Now we're going to go ahead and start the turret. Now there kind of is a minimum size for a turret. Technically you can build it smaller, but you're not going to have room to load the cannon. You're going to have no room to move around. So that's why I'm going to be making it the way I'm going to be making it. Yes, you could technically go smaller. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And if I did my math correct, this should be the right size. So that should be our center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go ahead and paint this up. And we're going to add one more layer below this, because we do have to make room for the cannon to aim up and down. I'm also going to delete that piece, and I'll explain that in a moment. So now there's a 1 block gap below the barrel, that way the barrel can move up and down. And with our centers, we can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Go and delete those. Bring these in. Then we're going to need one of these. Bring these over. Oh, nope. It's from this point that our actual turret is going to rotate. And grabbing maintenance ship once again, we can build what will be the bottom of our tank. So at this point, there's nothing really hooked up here, so it's all kind of lying about. We're going to delete these markers that we put on here earlier. And now I could actually start the mechanical side of the turret, where we actually start hooking things up. So with our electric engines and controllers, 2 electric engines off the back of the turret, 2 controllers as well. Hooking the controllers up to these bearings that control the elevation. And hooking the electric engines up to these bearings that control our horizontal rotation. We're going to need 4 buttons. And for the controllers, set these +1 degree repeating, -1 degree repeating, Set these to 1. Go ahead and reverse one of those bearings. At this point, we can put our seat down. And hook everything up. This is going to use my standard control scheme. Now these are all backwards, so just go ahead and reverse the bearings. Now 1 is left, 2 is up, 3 is down, 4 is right, and everything seems to be working fine. Now we go ahead and clean some of this up and make sure everything is working the way it should. So when we're in the seat, we can control just fine. We get out, we can step forward a little bit, and we can get to the cannon loading mechanism. I'm not sure why my mouse is letting go of my click at random parts. And the last thing is we need to control this button from the seat, so that is 5. So 1, 2, and then 5. Yay. Go ahead and paint these up because those are going to annoy me. And right now we have a working turret. At this point you could just finish it off however you want to make it look. Before we, not cardboard. Before we get on to the next steps. The next thing is going to be the aiming system. You should probably actually finish the aiming system before you work on this part. Before you actually finish the turret's visual design, I should say. For this cannon, our aiming system is going to be attached to this side of the cannon. When you're aiming, you will have to remember which side your spud gun is on, because that will affect where you're going to hit. I'm going to put it nice and far back in there. We're going to have to make a little bit of logic back here for this system to work. So some logic blocks. You're going to need 2 of those. And a timer. Go ahead, logic, timer, logic, logic. This one is going to need to be an XOR. Doesn't really matter which one is the XOR. It makes a very slight difference, and really, for me, it's just something I do just because I like it that way. If you don't have it the exact same way, it doesn't really matter. So when you press this, it should flash. That is nice. Pull from the AND signal to... Oh, nope, that's the wrong thing. Pull from the AND signal to the spud gun up there. Now when we hold 6, we've got a small machine gun. We can use this for aiming. Go ahead and load our cannon back up. And let's say we want to hit... just for easy sake, let's say we want to hit this rock. We're hitting it with the spud gun, press 5. We hit it with the explosive, everything's working fine. Now we're going to go ahead and top off this turret. Now you're going to need to leave a gap behind the cannon so that it can pivot up. And you do want this wall to be slightly over the seat. That way when it hits you, it will shove you forward into a loading position, rather than you having to walk yourself over here. When you hop out, it should throw you forward a little bit. And just for the sake of making things look a little bit better, I do like to put these on. However, this is not necessary. This is more of a aesthetic choice. It would also be a good idea to place something in the front here to keep you from falling in that gap between the seat and the face of the turret. So let's put some of these here. There we go. That way you have something to stand on right here when you're loading. And for the most part, that is the turret. From here, you can just do whatever you want to make it look however you want. The next step we're going to be working on is putting the box around the base of this turret and starting with the actual tank chassis. So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this just because it's going to annoy me, it being the color it is right now. Go ahead and put a bottom on this. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. I am still a little bit sick. Then we are going to bring one up here in each of the corners. This is going to make it so we have a slightly better rotating area. Gives us a little bit more armor. And it looks a little bit nicer for the top when we actually get everything set up. Go ahead and put our walls on. Paint these up. From here, we're going to put on our tracks. I want one track to be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spacing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this back here is going to be where our engine bay is. So that's all fine and dandy. Let's go ahead and get some 3 long springs. We need to actually put our notches in on this side as well. Now for this one, I am going to have a front raised wheel, but it is not going to rotate. Most of mine do rotate, but for this design, I'm not going to have it. It's going to be a free spinning bearing. Just hopefully to reduce the lag a little bit. We're going to need bearings while I'm here. There we go. Paint these all up. And we're going to grab the big wheels. Yeah, go ahead and increase the suspension because they're already too weak. Go ahead and go to 6. Actually, we're going to go to 5 for all of these. There we go. Now we're going to put in the driving systems. We're going to need 4 engines, some sensors, a bearing, some pipe pieces, and a bolt. So right here at the sensor, let's go ahead and go. Let's go ahead and go like that. Not sure how I want to do this. I'm going to go ahead and go like this. I'm going to go ahead and place this here. Bearing. Actually, no, I'm going to do it the other way. T-piece. Bolt. Bolt. Sensor set to 2 and 2, and we're going to put these on color mode. We're going to go ahead and use orange. Orange is usually what I use. We're going to paint these 2 orange, so the sensors will only pick up these 2 bolts. 2 in the center are going to be used for forward movement. And these are going to go ahead and get connected straight to the seat. Crank them up to about 2 below max. We'll play with that for that level here shortly. This bearing needs to go to the seat. These can get hooked up. These need to be opposite of forward. These need to be backwards. So these go forward and these go backwards. Same thing over here. Reverse those, reverse those, reverse those. Same speed as the ones above. Now we should, if everything was right, we need to do a bit of tweaking. Yep, we do need to reverse this bearing down here. So our left and right are wrong. And there we go. Now we have a fully functioning tank with tank steering. The ability to aim and fire our gun. Let's go ahead and try and hit that large tree over there. Aim it a little bit too low. Go ahead and load it up. Close enough. Fire. We did hit the side of the tree. That is all nice and good. Now I thought about finishing this tank with armor, but I am just going to do a quick camo tutorial because this shows everything you should need to know on how to make tanks. The armor itself at this point doesn't really matter. For the most part, every armor design I've tried does very little to improve your survivability. So let us do the camo real quick. For me, camo looks something kind of like this. Let's grab a block. The majority of my system is this color, which is my base color. And from there, I would use this for dark. This will be the majority of your speckles. Try to keep them a bit random. There you go. And then I use this color here just for some small accents. Nothing really big, nothing really major. Just some small little accents, and there you go. There's my camo. You'd put it on your tank. And ta-da. This is as far as I'm going to do this because this is already becoming a very long episode. And I don't want to go any further. Hopefully this should be enough to teach you how to make your own tanks. If you do want to make a tank and battle with it, battle me or battle friends, that is up to you. But I am going to end this episode here. If you did enjoy, please leave a like. Any suggestions, leave in the comments down below. Enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing, please subscribe. Helps a lot, and right now, shares help the channel the most. If you do want to help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. Thanks for stopping by. Wait, no. We're going to actually shoot something with this before we go, just to prove that it does work. I'm going to shoot the Mark 16. Let's go with the 16.6. Doesn't really matter. This isn't the newest version, but it doesn't really matter for this situation. There we go. Would hop in, load, aim. So, thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and until next time, peace.